Diversification doesn't work when correlation goes to 1, though, Christian. And again, we got a taste of that this week. How do you want to protect yourself? Should you use Monday as a playbook for periods of more volatility?
Yeah, I think if you look at portfolios, right, and we manage, for example, multi-asset portfolios, I think what has worked well is between bonds and equities, the discussion we had long time in markets where this was a positive. This now, if you look at government bonds, was a negative correlation. So that's what we want as a diversifier in the portfolios, right? So that's working now. I think that's good news from that perspective. And that's, I think, back to normality, back to more normal, back to reality, what we are seeing. And I think I really welcome this, to be very honest.
I have a question for you, Christian. The top of your note says, when Wall Street coughs. You obviously think this is a time to potentially get in. You think this is just a moment in the markets. What signals are you looking for to see potentially what a cough can turn into a big cold?
Yeah, that's what we always say, but maybe also in Europe, if Wall Street coughs, Europe has already a cold because there's a higher beta often to the downside in Europe. Has not changed again from that perspective, so there's a bit more downside capture in Europe. I think that's the pattern you have in markets, which is not changing from our point of view. And I think that's what you need to take into account, right? You need to think, what is changing? Is that Monday really a change in markets? We have seen change in markets since mid-July, I think, where we see that start of the rotation trade. And as we enter a bit weaker situation on the US economy, I think this trade will continue. And as I said, however, I don't see a base case is not a recession in the US. Still, I think this trade will continue. So to bring everything back on Monday into markets, I think is a bit too early.
When you say that you have this barbell approach, you like tech, would you fund it with the yen? Do you like the idea of getting back into a carry trade?
Not too sure I would like to do that, because I think the stance, if you look what the central bank wants, right, I think still the Bank of Japan doesn't want to have a quick move in the yen and doesn't want to have a 2-week yen, because with that they would theoretically, and we've seen this, import inflation. So their stance will still be not to have a 2-week yen, but to slightly and slowly probably appreciate this a little bit. And that is not positive for the carry trade, so I would not load up on carry trades right now. From that perspective, that's why I'm saying this rotation trade is probably not over as well.